So we failed to complete a lap under green.
That first lap just a preview. Stock car road racing is a contact sport. The champ's problems began with Boris Said and got worse.
I see smoke, so he's got a valve train problem.
Past champ Labonte's run to the front was unorthodox.
He said they could go all the way to the end. The reason, the car is that much slower than the very fastest cars, so it's not using as much fuel.
And Terry Labonte has been caught by Jeff Gordon.
King of the road right there, boys.
9 career road race wins. Jeff Gordon breaks his own record. King of the road indeed. Good evening. Welcome to Inside Nextel Cup. Dave Despain with our panel of experts. Ready for a little NASCAR road racing. Dodge St. Mart 350 out at Sonoma at Infineon Raceway. Pleasure to welcome a new panel member, first timer, Martin Truex. Nice to have you on the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It'll be a lot of fun.
Two-time Busch champion, Cup rookie. How much road racing have you done along the way?
I've done a bit. Started out in go-karts. I ran a bunch of road courses, and then, of course, in the Busch Series, we ran Watkins Glen, and the Busch car last year we ran a few times. Aside from having to go out and do that wine tasting thing with Jimmy Spencer for the Fox pre-race show, how was Sonoma? Sonoma was good. We had a good car, a good finish. Qualifying was a little tough. We had a little problem with our transmission, but we got it all worked out and got a good finish, so it was a good day for our Bass Pro Chevy. Glad to have you here. Thank you. Our two stalwarts, of course, Kenny Schrader. Aside from the latter part of the first lap,
yeah, the latter part of the first
Sonoma?
Lap. It was pretty good. The little W Fusion was good. We qualified 18th, and I screwed that lap up a little bit. We were better than that in practice, and it was in top half both practices. And it's that second half of that first lap.
That got fairly large over there.
It seemed to be a fairly big gathering.
I went over in the dirt. I closed my eyes.
You know, and I knew you'd be coming with your eyes closed.
I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, I couldn't see for all the dirt, so I closed them back.
Might as well.
Yeah, so it worked good.
We'll get to that in due time. We'll spare people you showing us your bruises, but they're ugly. Michael, Sonoma, I picture you as a Sonoma kind of guy. I picture you as the kind of guy that has fun in that part of the world.
We went on Tuesday just to enjoy the scenery. Went and played Pebble Beach, shot 107, but I was at Pebble Beach. It didn't really matter.
To enjoy it that much longer, right?
Yeah, I got to enjoy all 107 shots, and then went to Sonoma for a day and hung out with Buffy, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law went with us, and Macy went, played croquet Saturday night with Jeff Gordon. He has this croquet deal, and I had on all white. You got to wear white. I felt just a little bit in touch with my feminine side. I will be honest with you on that. But the croquet was fun, and the racing was just predictable. We haven't been fast enough to get up where I want to be, or didn't handle well enough. Our car ran well, but we were really loose all day. But finished 23rd and gained some points. We have goals. We got to get in the top 35, and it gets more and more realistic every day that we can accomplish that. So that makes it fun. You know, you'd hate to be racing thinking that you couldn't accomplish some of your goals.
Move forward. Yeah.
And we can, so that's a good feeling.
Last night on Wind Tunnel, Brian Vickers made it official. He'll be a Toyota guy next year. We've talked a good bit about that. Anything new to add? Any surprises? Any insight? Or maybe any speculation about who his teammate might be?
I think that's the biggest surprise, or the biggest question, is who else is going to come over there, and where are they going to come from? You know, you've got a lot of good teams right now with empty seats. Chip Ganassi has an empty seat. So Robert Yates has an empty seat. Whether they go to Red Bull or where they go, I think it'll be interesting to figure all this out as the season goes forward.
And you came up sort of through the whole young gun thing. Has anything changed there? Are owners feeling differently one way or another? More confidence, less confidence in the whole ABC, bring a kid up young, get him in a cup car when he's 20 deal? Or is that just kind of unfolding?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's all about what you can do. You know, if you've done a lot of good things in the past and they got confidence in you, I don't think it matters if you're 20 or you're 40. I mean, you know, if you're a good driver and they think you can get the job done, then you're going to get it.
We need some drivers. Let's get to the race. Don't be bashful. Jump in. These guys will talk your leg off if you give them a chance. Well, yeah, I guess
Mikey will.
That's
Bud
just
Paul
unfair.
qualifying. Familiar sight. Got the blue deuce up front of the road course, although this time it's Kurt Busch at the keyboard rather than Rusty Wallace, a very accomplished road racer. Kurt's got a good record at Infineon, and he maintained that, as we'll see. Any other pre-race business we need to take care of, or you want to go ahead and drop the rag and get this thing going?
I think the pre-race talk was about all the ringers, you know, all the road race guys that had great cars. Travis Quapple had to get out of his car so Ron Fellows could get in it. Strimmy out of his, Scott Pruitt in it. And he had everything out there, by the way. I think Strimmy could have done that.
P.J. Jones, Boris.
Yeah, and you know, you're looking at practice, and me having to qualify in on time. I'm thinking, okay, where's the 5 easy guys I'm going to beat?
Wow.
And they didn't come.
Them guys are so fast.
Had ex-Trans Am champs sitting in their seats.
Right, yeah.
I couldn't find those 5 easy guys.
Well, let's go ahead and get it started. Kurt Busch, as noted, leads from the pole, and of course the talk was about what's going to happen on the first lap, and here's part of what happened on the first lap. That's McMurray.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to lead the first lap, too.
And in the aftermath of that, Bobby Labonte gets run off as well.
Okay, doing a little spin around there.
Bobby had a kind of rough day.
Overhead view. McMurray, I guess, racing with Busch, got the exit of 1 wrong, and then that gets him in the wrong place for 2.
But it gets worse on the first lap.
That was the beginning of a very long day for Jamie, and then a very short day for Kenny. I guess it's your turn to tell us what happened here.
Well, I've only seen it once, but it looked to me like I picked a really bad time and wrong place to spin out.
It got a lot of company behind you.
Yeah, and
man, you just can't see. I mean, that's the deal. You can't see. Even with your eyes open, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, I started all the way in the back, and I just barely had time to stop and miss it too. So
this wasn't bad for you, I guess. Got a lot of guys out of your way.
yeah, got a few out of the way, a few free spots right there, quick.
That hit right there.
Golly, I didn't realize that happened.
I did.
Here's what the new guy said.
And that was close, boys. A good thing I can drive in the dark.
You see, he closed his eyes too.
David Gilliland. First time Cup start. And first lap got pretty interesting.
He qualified good.
That's interesting. 10 years ago, started his career as a fabricator and a crew chief in Winston West. His dad was a racer. Finished 31st first time out after winning that Busch race. Star in the making, or too soon to tell? Are we going to be talking about David Gilliland 5 years from now?
Could be. You know, you don't know. It depends what kind of opportunities he's presented, and some doors are going to open from his Busch deal.
I'll tell you what we know for sure. He has accomplished a lot more than some of the other stars that we think are in the making. You know, he stepped up, and
With a lot less.
With a lot less.
With a lot less and a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about, there's very seldom the real deal comes along. Carl Edwards was, Martin was, obviously. He jumped in that car, Dale Jr.'s, and took off and won the championship. There's people that do it, but then there's also people that there's a lot of talk about doing it, and they never get to do it.
We always need a hero to be talking about, whether it turns out to be a real hero or not.
Right. For every Carl Edwards and Martin, there's about 10 or 12 other Nathan Haslaz and Chuck Hosfields that have come and gone in great equipment. They're great racers, but it's all circumstantial. You got to get in the right situation.
Let's move on. Watch what happens to Kyle Busch, and tell me you're not surprised that this was an 11th place finishing car. This is lap 8.
This was big. He gets loose coming up start-finish line. He gets to right rear. It was like he started to truck around the 32 when you see it from this angle.
Yeah.
And then it's slick out there. He gets the back end and the front end in the wall, and I would have thought that was going to have more effect on the car than it obviously did.
When I saw those marks on the wall, I said, well, whoever that is, I'll get him.
Yeah. How'd that work out?
Never did get him. Never did see him.
Let's check in with Jimmy Johnson. He's not liking his new car. The Nextel Fan View audio replay says so.
It is slowly going away. The other thing you can start to think about is pulling that brake out of the front now. That may help you a little bit turning it.
Want to elaborate on what he's talking about there, taking the front brake out?
Asking about the brake bias adjuster and putting some more where the rear brakes will work a little bit more give them a little more stopping pressure. Maybe not than the front, but more than they had at that point.
And then that goes either way. Like, my car was so loose, I could never get it to stick, so I started cranking some more front brake in my car, trying to help tighten it up, get in the corner. So there's ways you can adjust your car from in the seats. Very few ways other than which angle you take, but the brakes sometimes help.
Was there much buzz about that chassis? Corvette builds a car. I mean, that seems to make sense for Cup racing. Was there much talk about that? Were people going, ooh, that's going to be the next big thing?
I'm not sure. I know it was something offered to all the Chevrolet teams. I don't even think we even knew about it till we got to the racetrack, so not real sure.
Wasn't a big deal for you then.
Is that what Jimmy had?
Jimmy and I think Fellows had the other one, and those were the only two I heard about. But
it was no big topic around the garage area.
No. We need a commercial break.
I learned about it just now.
We'll come back with this confrontation between a couple of the aforementioned ringers. And a day that Jamie McMurray would just as soon forget completely. Road racing can be like that. We'll take that break and be back on the other side.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go road racing today, boys!
A good thing I can drive in the dark.
Ford will lead this lap. Professor Said's fancy footwork. And he will win the battle.
As they hit it right and he took the lead, he was long gone.
I often wish you could see what happens during the commercials. In this case, the sort of surprised look on veteran Kenny Schrader's expression as we talk about wheel hop. I think he may be about to learn something, or did during the commercial. I guess this one's yours, Michael. Let's talk about wheel hop with the 7 car.
Well, you can see Robbie Gordon as he's shooting down into the turn here. Check out this back wheel. It'll start going up and down. Watch. See it? Boom, boom, boom. That's called wheel hop. It means you got a little bit more rear brake than he needed. Plus, with the thing in gear, those tires shake more violently. So I told Schrader just knock it into neutral, and then Martin elaborated that Boris uses a clutch so he can never wheel hop. The drive line is what causes wheel hop. Once they get to skipping, if you throw it in neutral or push in the clutch, it'll quit.
I think the neatest part about that clip, though, is how much trouble Ryan was in and didn't have no clue.
Didn't even know it. You know, the crew will ask you all the time, you didn't wheel hop it, did you? Because that means it's going to break. You know, if you wheel hop it, it'll break. And so I always just say,
New?
Well, obviously break.
He puts it in neutral. You do it a little differently.
Yeah, I just told him, I just pushed the gas a little bit to calm it down. But I guess if it's as bad as Robbie's was right there, then you've got to do more than
continue to brake.
Throttle on Robbie's part would have really screwed up Ryan's day.
He was going a little bit too fast to be giving more gas.
And how do you keep yours from, what do you do when yours starts wheel
I
hopping?
just hope everybody's out of the way, because I'm not sure where it's going to stop at.
It's a 2-stop race. Pit strategy is always a big deal. Anybody want to sum up the strategic implications of the pit stop deals at Sears Point?
Well, we saw is you want to be the first one to make your last stop. And we saw it work yesterday for Terry Labonte. They made their last stop knowing that they couldn't make it if it went green, but knowing that traditionally we have late yellows.
Regardless, you don't want to speed on pit road.
No.
That's what Tony Stewart did.
And the one big problem there, it happened a lot Saturday and Sunday, is it's hard enough to get a good pit road speed anyway, but on the road courses, you can't at all. From the driver, I mean, they can figure it out, but you can't get one from the driver because you're just too far back from the pace car, and it's not like everybody can just stay in line.
That's when your crew's got to give you the math, give you the science, and say it's got to be this RPM and hope they're right.
Yeah, and they'll always figure it on the high side and take advantage of the little bit NASCAR gives you. So then if you're over at all what they tell you.
Or if your tack's not right.
Yeah.
Easy to get a ticket. Tony did.
Oh,
and that puts you...
Another good strategy Sunday was to get 4 tires under one of those cautions when you couldn't make it to the end if you were running near the back of the pack, and then when it goes green you run 4 or 5 laps and you can make it then, just come in and get you a squirt of gas, and then that way that allows you to get ahead of guys that wait to pit under the green to get 4 tires and gas. So there's a lot of games that the crews play. They're all very smart, and Martin's team obviously did a good job, got a good top 15 finish, and our team did a great job, got me up to 23rd.
Every bit as much as short track, it seems. Nextel Cup road racing is a contact sport, at least it was yesterday. A couple of examples here for your expert analysis. Robbie and Boris.
Well, Boris left him room, and Robbie needed a little bit more, right, Kenny?
Yeah. You and I have had that same thing happen before.
Elliott Sadler and Scott Pruitt.
Pruitt didn't leave him no room, but Elliott needed something.
bad weekend for the past Trans Am champion. Left to go to Mid-Ohio, road race there. Whoa. Wrecked, came back to Infineon, spun several times.
Yeah, you look like you had a rough day.
We see it all the time at Infineon. I mean, it is a really, until they get spread out, there's a lot of beating and banging goes on there.
How far back to that to the Gordon and Said deal? How far alongside you got to be before it's your corner?
Doesn't matter. You can be kind of in there and the guy will cut you off and you hit. You can be way in there and you can get in too hot and you can hit. It's a contact sport. Like you said, we're down in first gear making turns. You're going to bump into one another. What you just hope is somebody doesn't just chew you up. You know, don't go in a corner and just act like you're not there and try to drive you off the road. That'll hack someone off.
And the other thing is, too, is like on that deal when Robbie smokes in there, I mean, not in that particular instance, but in like that, it's like, okay, he's got me. But if I can hold him, the next turn's a left.
Right.
And I got him back. So it's just fun. It is fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Sometimes, even if you like it, even if you don't, it can be a really, really frustrating game. And yesterday, it seemed like McMurray was just the guy. Here's one of those examples you're talking about.
That was getting used up, it appeared.
P.J. Jones.
Well, I bet you P.J. thought he was going to let him have the corner, and then he found out he wasn't.
You know, it's easy to overshoot the corners when you're running by yourself, and then you go in there and try to pass a guy, and you have to drive in farther than him to pass him, and a lot of times you end up just going straight.
Yeah. Here's what McMurray had to say. Nextel Fan View audio replay.
Be smooth, hit your marks, everything been good. It's been a long day. Get me out clear.
Get what clear?
Get me out clear.
Get me out clear. But the reason why he was so frustrated was he brought a lot of that on himself. You know, he went up sat on the outside pole, went up the first turn trying to lead the lap and crashes. Well, now he's in the back. And now he's subject to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and that thinking there is when he trucks through one, he loses a little bit of ground, but he knows two at the top of the hill is his turn.
Yeah.
But
it occurs to me that the road race guys that you mentioned earlier, Michael, who only get 2 shots a year at the rest of you, may be in a pretty high-pressure game. I mean, PJ really smoked it down in there. Do you think those guys perhaps overdrive a little bit because they're getting this one shot to race the 3 of you?
Well, I think there's no question. They put it all on the line. They don't hold back. You know, they go for the win and race as hard as they can at flat.
They got nothing to lose.
Well, they got a whole lot of game. Maybe some other races that aren't road courses.
Let's take a commercial break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to talk to Boris Said about that and other things later. Here's Tony and Boris, kind of an ongoing confrontation yesterday. And there is a reason that Jeff Gordon is NASCAR's all-time leader in road race wins. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Jeff Gordon fans, you could win the picture of the week. Go to the INC page, speedtv.com. Use the link to send an email with the word picture on the subject line. 1 email only, or you're disqualified. The winner gets the picture.
Now, if you
do you check that real close?
If you pour something
Stop it. You already did this.
Is a picture a picture? What if you spell picture?
I agree with Schrader. We already did this.
Do you see the pictures, though?
With first-timer Martin Truex Jr., Kenny Schrader, and the picture-obsessed Michael Waltrip. We're checking out the NASCAR road racing action at Sears Point. Jeff Gordon is clearly serious about his relationship with the model Ingrid Vanderbosch. They are engaged to be married. Congratulations. He's also a very serious road racer. 8 career victories. This is how it's done right here.
Is that a Corvette chassis, too?
No.
Oh.
Inside a Harvick for second. And then Harvick says...
24 is incredible on the brake. Yeah, he is.
And around Newman now to take the lead on lap 49.
Ooh. He's incredible on the brakes, but he could have used just a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Had to root. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Is he talking about the 24 being incredible on the brakes, and in the vernacular of NASCAR, that can mean the car or the driver. Is there, tell me about the relationship of car to driver in road racing versus oval racing. Significantly different? As far as which is most important?
Well, there's a lot more things you have to do. You know, you're shifting, you're braking, you're turning all at the same time. You got to do it, you know, all at the exact time. If you turn when you're on the brakes, you lock tires up. If you downshift too early, you'll wheel hop. So there's a lot of things going on.
I think driver can do a lot more in the road course.
You can carry a car maybe a little more.
Well, we see guys that run fast no matter what they're driving. you know. I mean, more than you do in an oval.
Let's go to Tony Stewart. 3 Cup wins in a row coming into this event. 4 if you count the Busch race at Watkins Glen last year. Streak ended, but Tony did get himself a lot of TV time, often alongside Boris Said. There they are.
Oh.
Boris is in the dirt.
He was trying to explain to Boris he would be requiring that space that he was occupying.
Not as much as this one.
And again,
that was big.
Look at Robbie. He's saying, okay. But you look at Boris. You got to appreciate what Boris did there. In both cases, he obviously had hacked Tony off, and he realized it. But look, now Tony takes him out there. Right here, he could have just spun him out.
Yeah.
And the other time, he could have dove in the next corner and spun him out. Boris is a guy, when we talk about a road race specialist coming to the show, he wants to blend in. He wants to race oval tracks. He doesn't drive like a wild person when he's doing his road racing, and I think that's a great example of Boris just taking a deep breath and saying, I could punch you, but I won't.
I think Tony went for the big break deal there, though, and he got the rear sliding and just required more room. I don't think that was a, I mean, he didn't get stopped till he was
put
out
himself
there
in a
away.
position
Yeah.
where he, you know,
Yeah.
he ended up looking like.
I don't think he went in there and had an X on the side of Boris's car.
Yeah. We'll get Boris's side of this in a little bit. He's going to be our featured interview of the day. More examples of the front bumper as a passing tool now. We'll begin with, again, from, oh, sorry about that. Lost my place.
That's all right. We do it all the time.
We'll be talking about Terry Labonte a lot. And Smokes. The day ended badly for the Nextel Cup champion. We'll be right back.
Uh-oh, got another car around over here coming through turn 8.
Whoa, Kyle Busch, the 5, gets into the wall. J.J. Yaley doing a little agricultural racing.
Jeff's got his hands full.
It would not turn when he got on the pit road.
That's a NASCAR 360 right there.
We got another car off in turn 7.
See the rear wheels hopping? Woo, that's bad.
I guess that's an appropriate lead into our next clip, which is additional examples of the front bumper as a passing tool in NASCAR road racing with our expert panel. Well, let's have a look. On board with Boris Said.
Tony bumped into Robbie. And Boris took advantage.
And here's Boris into the back of the point leader.
But, whoa, the point leader got really fortunate. Now this guy here,
going? Oh my gosh.
Scott Pruitt from the dirt to the side of Junior.
The dirt doesn't have much grip.
Uh-oh. Is he going to spin him?
Nope. Just move him over a little and then pass him. Robbie Gordon around Kyle Busch. Any observations? Shall we move on?
Road racing's more like Bristol than Bristol's like Bristol.
Yeah.
What do you think of the idea? The fans voted yesterday. Yeah, let's have a road race in the chase.
Nope. Bad idea.
Said the drivers will hate that idea.
Well, not would I hate it because of that fact, but you got to take a percentage of the races. A couple of road races during the course of the year is great for our sport. You see the dirt flying, people spinning each other out. You get to watch Boris's feet. I mean, we wouldn't have that if it weren't for road racing, but predominantly we're an oval track sport. So the balance of all the different tracks that are in the chase, I think now are perfect. A road race doesn't belong in there. You got to race the road races to get to your bread and butter, which is the ovals. So that ship should sail.
I hate to say this, but I agree with him.
You know, the more you hang around with me, it seems like the more you're saying that.
No, I'm going to go get looked at.
We'll go back and check the tape and see if that's true. I'm not sure I agree with that. We'll go to our next clip, pit stops. And we mentioned that this is the one that Terry Labonte got just right. About lap 66, all the leaders are coming in.
Isn't it interesting they pit when they knew they couldn't make it?
Yeah.
Unless the caution came out. And it did. And it always does late in the race.
Yeah, Labonte at this point had pitted on lap 60. That's a long way to go on fuel. He is leading Jeff Gordon. You can see Jeff out the back there. He's a second a lap slower than Gordon with a 10-second lead and, what, 40 laps to go. I mean, so do the math. It was sort of inevitable, wasn't it?
Let's do the math. Shop at Aaron's and get better stuff.
Yeah, well, he knew that he was going to get caught. But he also knew if he made it on fuel, he was going to finish a whole lot higher than he was going to if he would have pitted later.
And lo and behold, that's exactly the way it worked out. We'll go to the Enterprise turning point of the race, which is that seemingly inevitable moment when Jeff caught his former teammate.
look at the braking that Harvick spoke of earlier. Terry wheeled down in there as far as he could, and he knew there, you know, anytime someone's coming from that far back, it's inevitable, as you said, Dave.
Felipe Lopez, the crew chief, looking on. Stewart's car begins to smoke. Still 30 laps to go, so that's not a good sign.
It made it, though.
It did, including idling for that entire red flag.
Which I do not understand.
Several people emailed wanting to know why he wasn't black flagged for the smoke. You want to explain why that was the case?
Well, sometimes you get some oil out of the exhaust. I guess there was nothing coming out of the car but smoke, and they figured he was good to go.
As long as it's not liquid smoke and not causing other people a problem, is that the...
They do a pretty good job of checking it as it goes around the track, and he wasn't putting anything down. As long as he was running minimum speed, that'll leave him out there.
We'll take a commercial break and come back and show you how this all finished. The crashing continued as the race wound down, as Michael noted. A lot of yellows and a red flagger at the end. And the question to the very end, could Labonte in fact make it that far on fuel? Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're getting down to the end of the road racing action yesterday. 110 laps of the 2-mile Infineon Raceway. Typical of the race. Long green in the middle. Bunch of cautions at the end, including this one. Joe Nemechek was another guy who had a fair bit of trouble during the course of the day.
Uh-oh.
Did he wheel hop?
He wheel hopped, and he decided that he better abort.
So I got a full course caution. Nextel FanView audio replay. Labonte's crew chief, Lopez, reminding his driver about the obvious.
Terry, do everything you can do under caution to save gas. I know you've been, hopefully you've been helping us out here.
Labonte's explanation afterwards was pretty interesting. My car was so loose I couldn't get to the gas. I didn't have any choice. It wasn't like he was consciously saving fuel.
Yeah.
Poor handling turns out to be a great benefit.
Well, smooth on those road courses, it's not always how much throttle you got down, it's just if you've got it pulling a little bit. And Terry's a good road racer, and he knew what to do to maximize fuel mileage and get as much speed out of it as he could.
Yeah, when you think of smooth, you save gas, and who do you think of? Smooth, Terry Labonte. So it just all worked out.
Yeah, and if the car's loose to boot, he's got to be just that much more smooth. And lo and behold, they made it, helped by a series of yellow flags. Also one red flag for this big pile up.
Did Junior hit JJ?
Yep, and then Petty got to the back of Nemechek, and ultimately there was not.
You know, it looks like Bobby and Dale come flying in there like there's no, like,
Here's what Yaley said.
Let them explain it.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What happened?
The main car spun me out.
See, it looks like Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte just flew up in there and wrecked them, but you can't see coming over that hill. It's a blind turn. Whatever's up there, if it's in your way, you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
You almost run off the road there by yourself every lap.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
You First off, 15 guys with you, right?
Yeah,
it's complicated.
On both sides.
Yeah.
You know.
The final restart came with 3 laps remaining. Pretty clear from the Nextel FanView audio replay that the 24 team knew what to do under those circumstances. Give a listen.
Just like practice, 3 smooth laps, all going to need. You're better than all of them. Hit your marks and take what it'll give you, man.
Second, though, is somewhat in doubt at this point.
So is 23rd.
Newman trying to get around Labonte for second.
Tried it on the top side.
It's fun stuff side by side. Didn't quite get it pulled off that time. It's a good weekend, though, for Team Penske, and comes precisely at a time when they needed it. This was a good time for them to go out and score some points, huh?
Yeah, it was good to see Kurt up there on the pole. That was kind of a surprise. You know, I haven't seen him do much road racing, but apparently he's pretty darn good at it.
Yeah, this is a good weekend for everybody to try to get some points. It just didn't work out for everybody.
Yeah.
But you always look at it a place, no matter where you're at in the points, as it could be a big swing for you. You know,
Yes.
you could make some ground on some people.
Yeah, but as you mentioned last week, that whole race for 10th thing is so close, and these guys, Busch was, I think, 15th coming in, and Newman 16th, so they just need that. Just need to get that one step closer.
And the next best opportunity to make a big swing on somebody comes this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the weekend after that. In the end, Newman did get that second spot, as we'll see as we move down to the finish. His old USAC midget racing rival, Jeff Gordon, gets the big prize. Here's the second place pass.
Look how tight they are for second. Jeff just smiling, looking out that window. Rear view mirror.
He's happy.
The best road racer I've ever seen. Hey, my good.
Ninth career road race victory for Jeff Gordon, breaks his own record. I mean, that speaks for itself, I guess, doesn't it?
Put the end to the Tony Stewart dominance. I think he had won the last 3 or so. So
yeah,
Jeff's back on top.
It's just neat to see him win again.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like it'd been that long, but
good weekend for Mr. Hendrick.
Yes.
Brian won in the Ricky Hendrick Memorial car, and now Jeff the next day.
Yeah, we got the Parts Plus winner's purse. Pays pretty well, too. $1/3 of $1 million. Fourth place Biffle. 7 straight top 10s. 4 of those have been top 5s. Come on, guys. Jump in here. Help me out. Said was the first of the road race specialists. Hamlin. Truex, 15th. The best on our panel. Nice job.
Good day. I can tell you everything that Jeff Green, Casey Mears, Clint Boyer, Kyle Petty, Jeremy Mayfield. I don't know about Harvick. I don't know how he got back there with me. But anything you want to know about those guys, I can tell you.
They were there with you all day?
We welded ourselves to one another all day long.
Had a day together. Pruitt, 30th after the series of spins. And on back through those who had various sorts of troubles during the day.
And then there's that last little page.
Yeah.
There's Schrader.
Yeah.
Sad to see you and Sterling on that page, dude.
Yeah, well, I parked right in front of him.
We'll take a break at that point. When we come back, Boris Said will join us, along with that good-looking kid, to review his Sonoma weekend and talk about the future for his new 4-race team.
And here's one of the best at it, Boris Said.
Boris Said trying to be a contender here today as he eases back out onto the action.
Tony was pretty hard on old Boris right there. That's one of the quickest cars on the track right now.
Boris Said has an impressive road racing resume. It includes the likes of Trans Am Championship, 24 Hours of Daytona, 12 Hours of Sebring, a Craftsman truck race win at Infineon. But what he really wants is a Cup career, and we'll talk to him about that now as he joins us live from Carlsbad, California. Boris, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking time to be with us tonight. Tell us about your Sonoma weekend. How would you rate your performance?
I think it was pretty good. You know, we've been in business 7 weeks, and we just started the Sobe No Fear team, so I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, we got in the race solidly. We were running in the top 6 all day long, and unfortunately, you know, I had a few scraps with Tony that put us behind, and you know, then near the end, I made a mistake and ran off the track and lost a couple more spots. But, you know, under the circumstances, most people would be happy with a top 10, and I'm not going to cry about a 9th place finish. I think that's first weekend out for the Dollar General Sobe No Fear car was pretty good.
Hey, Boris, it's Michael. You look a little remorseful today, and I think it might be because I read this morning in the paper that Robbie Gordon said you ended his day. Have you been able to put that behind you? Where are you at on that?
I didn't even know I ever had a problem with Robbie Gordon on the track. You know, I came out of the pits once, and we had a little bit of contact, but I didn't think it was any big deal, so I don't really know why he's whining about that. But, you know, I was behind him for a while and then passed him. You know, he was locking up his tires quite a bit, so I think he needs to blame somebody else on that one.
Okay.
I got to watch some highlight reels, and you and Tony seemed to like be bonding together all day. Was that a big problem, or is that just the way it worked out? And if you kissed and made up?
I don't know what got into him, but yeah, he kept getting into me, and then I call on the radio. I go, "What's wrong with him?" And they said he was mad at me. So yeah, it didn't do us any good, you know, him or me. But at the end at the helicopter pad, we kissed and made up and traded some flowers and chocolates, and we're all good now. You got to do that now and then.
Yeah, I understand.
Hey, Boris, this is Martin. I was just wondering how much help you got from Roush with that 60 car.
We got a lot of help. You know, that car was an old MB2 car, so they put a body on it. You know, they gave us a really good engine, and you know, a lot of help logistically. You know, they lent us a truck and trailer because we don't have one of those yet. So, you know, to do what we did to start this Sobe No Fear Beverage team in 7 weeks, they were pretty instrumental in helping me out.
Let's talk about where that's going from here. You're going to race Daytona. We had heard initially it was going to be a 4-race deal, including the Glen and the Brickyard. Is that still the plan, and where do you see this going in the long term?
Well, hopefully, you know, we can get all these fans out there to buy Sobe No Fear Beverage and stop drinking Red Bull and all those other energy drinks, and Sobe will be a lot more involved in it, and we'll be able to run more races and get more sponsorship and eventually be a full-time team. I mean, that's our plan.
We certainly appreciate you taking time to be with us here this evening, and we wish you good luck.
Now you're back.
Kenny, you want back in?
Yeah, I want one more question. You're back at your day job today? I mean, yesterday you were a hero race car driver. You know, now what are you doing today?
Right now I'm at the No Fear corporate headquarters, you know, making sure the bathrooms are clean, loading trucks, doing what I got to do. You know, I'm not big-time stars like you guys.
Oh, I just want to see if you'd tell us the same thing.
I'm a working man.
Well, we know you're always working, Boris.
Hey, Boris, one last thing and we'll let you go from California. You're going to be on 7 days. That'll be fun to watch. What was that all about?
Man, they follow you around for 7 days, and it's the truth. I mean, they were at my house. They were pretty much everywhere but in the bathroom with me. But it should be pretty fun. They were a good group of people. The only bad thing is they weren't allowed to go to the top of the Golden Gate Bridge with us, and that was probably the coolest part of my week. But, you know, hopefully we'll send pictures out and people will be able to see that. Almost threw Frankie off the top.
Your little boy is adorable, too.
I appreciate it. He had a good time at the race. Pretty proud of him.
What a head of hair. I love it.
Wonder where that came from. Boris, again.
Hey, the fro's coming back, Michael.
I'm with you, brother.
Again, Boris, thanks very much. Good luck at Daytona. We'll see you again this weekend.
I appreciate it. See you guys.
That's Boris Said. We will take the commercial break and come back on the other side to review the Nextel Cup point standings. JJ continues to show the way. And what a wild finish for the Busch Series and a win for a series regular. Stay tuned. Getting ourselves a little late here. Let's take a look at the top 20 in the championship points. No change in the top 3. Martin moving up a spot. Burton keeps marching forward. Gordon, the big gainer, from 11th to 8th.
But, Dave, look how tight it is. Very, very tight. All the way back to Ryan Newman, I say, has got a shot to get in. I bet you Boyer, he might just be 11th, but he can't make it to 10th. Anybody got anything to say?
I think Ryan's going to have a stretch to make it from there. And besides that, we weren't going to talk in the segment. We were going to make Dave do all the talking because they didn't go back far enough to show us.
Because we didn't go back far enough to show you.
Is this Ryan's show or is this mine and Kenny's show?
Speak with the producer. I had nothing to do with these decisions. Let's go to the Busch highlights.
We got highlights.
Yeah, this was something.
The Aaron machine.
All the roll-up. Getting the pole.
I like the crowd.
Yep.
I like Milwaukee. That's a racing town right there.
Todd Cleaver gets spun around, hits the wall.
Darn it.
I like this. Look at the sledgehammers on John Andretti's car.
7 of them.
You know, we got some really high-tech tools, but we got a lot of hammers too, man.
Don't you hate when they say, give me a... I hate when they say, give me a plastic hammer.
Yeah.
No, that's not a hammer.
Denny Hamlin all the way from the back to take the lead from Mike Wallace. Bernie Lamar turned around again this week.
Wow.
Meantime, Jason Leffler will take the lead.
That was Stacy Compton's first crash. But he comes up with a good finish.
He finished top 10?
13th maybe. Or no, 6th. Yeah, 6th.
Jason Leffler trying to get to pit road.
See that red stripe on the wall? You got to be pit road speed by there.
It's
Denny Hamlin on pit road at the time. That puts him at the tail end of the lead lap. Everybody else comes in.
Look at there, Menard's team. Got him out.
3 to go. Restart. Harvick all over Menard. Ball hangs on.
J.A. Jaley ran over Harvick. Ooh, big crash.
Big pile up on the backstretch.
Oh, that had to hurt.
Some good cars in there.
What a good run.
McFarland.
What a good run Mark McFarland was having in Dale Jr.'s car, too. He was top 10.
Looks like he's a little sore there.
I bet he is. That hurt me, and I just wasn't even there.
Menard hangs on for the victory. That's his first career win in the Busch Series. That's big.
In his home state?
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah.
He's from Eclair.
Close enough. And let's see, results. Hamlin and Yaley, second and third. No other Cup guys in the top 10. Not that many making the long commute.
Stacy Compton with the 6th and a couple wrecks.
Danny O'Quinn. How about Danny O'Quinn? That's his best finish.
Harvick wound up 19th after the incident. He is your point leader, although he'll lose a bit of that lead as a result of that. Not that he's in any immediate danger.
You know, I've noticed that when all those 22 Cup guys don't show up, you see some different names up at the top of the finishing order.
Yes, all the way back through the finishing order. James Hilton made 4 or 5 laps at the age of
71.
71?
What a sweet man.
What a future we all have, you know. You're watching you guys 40 years from now, and he's still talking about it. That'll be a lot of fun.
Do you know he finished second in the Cup standings?
Several times, I believe. Yeah. Wasn't he also David Pearson's crew chief when Pearson won championship?
I think that's right. I'm not quite old enough to remember that.
We'll have to get that dude that does back in the day to come on and tell us.
They're whispering in my ear, the producer, the guy who really calls the shot, says, tell them the trucks are next. So I am.
Bud Lindemann.
Bud Lindemann, back in the day guy. Johnny Benson, way to go. We'll see you in a minute.
Inside Nextel Cup is presented by Nextel. Get closer to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series with Nextel from Sprint. Brought to you in part by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise, we'll pick you up. And by Parts Plus, America's family of auto parts stores and service centers.
And I don't know my number.
I'm going home.
It is becoming a pleasant habit to be able to congratulate Johnny Benson on Truck Series victories. He got another one, his second in a row, over the weekend at Milwaukee. Have a look at the highlights.
I love Milwaukee. Look at all the people there for the truck race.
Hornaday on pole.
Whoa!
Watch the official take a roll. Jack Sprague leaving.
He's all right. He's all right.
Official attached.
Oh, man.
Eric Almirola gets the 11 David Starr. He collects Matt Crafton, who gets the worst of it back into the wall.
Crafton got wrecked by proxy. He didn't even have anything to do with it.
Here's Johnny. Around Hornaday, he's got the lead. Got his first career truck win last week and his second career truck win this week. That's not a bad roll.
Well, they've been knocking on the door. I mean, it's just a matter of time. They weren't going to keep not getting in victory lane.
Kind of sad to see with all those fans in the stands and the great coverage on speed. Those 2 trucks battling for the lead. Neither one of them had a sponsor on the side of it. I hate that.
Yeah.
Benson second straight puts him in the thick of the title fight. Bliss second. Joke about Hornaday and Sprague being 2 of the toughest guys in the business to pass. He passed them both. How about Tim Peters at Dodge in 6th spot?
Yeah, that was a great run for him. And there's old Chad McCumbee. He just keeps running those top 15 finishes and doing a good job. And Todd Bodine lost a big chunk of his point lead to Rudeman on Friday night.
Let's take a look at those.